See if this works. Starting. Okay.
I see something happening.
There we go. Cool.
And it looks like we're live. Okay, screen's going. Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, or good evening. This is the BitcoinZ community meetup for March 11th at 9 a.m. Central. Very early over here. Hope everyone's doing well. We have an agenda up on your screen. You should see that. If it's not, let us know. We're going to be going over some e-commerce stuff that we've had happen over the course of some weeks. Some news, other things about exchanges, the hash lottery we have going on, then a Q&A. So we're going to go ahead and jump into it, get started. We have Equipool, Hiked, and Renews It on at the moment.
We totally dropped the ball with scheduling, so we don't have as many people here as we would have liked. I guess it's been a while since we've scheduled one of these, and so we were kind of like flustered in scheduling it. So sorry about that. Next time we'll have more people, and it'll be at a better time, maybe.
I think it's more of a time zone thing, so.
That's true.
All right, so we're going to hop into the e-commerce. As you might have seen over the course of a couple of weeks, we have a new payment gateway. This is by Robert at Discord. You can see him tagged in Discord. So what this is, oh, it's lagging a little bit. What the payment gateway is, so it should enable anyone to be able to integrate BitcoinZ as a payment option. The gateway itself has documentation as API for you to communicate with it, and it creates somewhat of an auto invoicing process through pragmatically. So this is at btcz.in. It's a payment gateway. There's also some modules. You don't have to develop your own. If you use the modules from WooCommerce, KubeCart, and IP Board. So those are the e-commerce plugins, and I believe there is somebody already running that. One of I think it's the WooCommerce plugin. I believe somebody has it. That the candle, is that right? Did somebody see that?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so there's a website out already doing that. Also, KubeCart is listed on their main payment options or payment modules page, and that's recently launched. It's up and running. People can go ahead and use it. Developers can develop towards it directly without having to use a module themselves. So it's been working pretty well. I think a few people have it going, and that should be Is there any questions? Anyone else from that? I think we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
So that knocks off one of the major milestones that we had in our roadmap that we had planned out, e-commerce. So, and we're continuing to grow that. I think we need to get it listed officially. I know that Nick H and Robert have worked pretty hard at getting that going and getting that listed and running through testing back and forth when the gateway first came up. So that's a good job for the community, good job for the team. We're moving forward with that milestone. We can kind of check that off on our list.
If I may jump in on this.
Yep.
So this payment gateway was built by Robert, and he's one of the community members. It's not an official product of the BitcoinZ community, but we strongly believe this is exactly what we're going for. This is exactly what we want. We want people to go out and build things using the blockchain and actually integrate it in the real world. And so this is perfect. It's amazing. But it's important to know that it's not run by like an open source medium. So do know that while I don't think anything wrong will happen with this, Robert is a great guy, and the product looks pretty stable and pretty sound. It's not like an actual BitcoinZ thing, but it's part of a community member has built it and is making it available to the community for free. So I just want to make that everybody aware of that.
Yep, absolutely. As the way the mission of decentralization and community joining up to do things, we'll probably see more of this happening. People jumping in, developers just popping up, and wanting to help, wanting to learn at the same time. So that's just the way. That's just the nature of community. So it's a good thing in the long run. Moving on, let's see here. We're gonna go to so news. What we've done, what the a few of the things that have come up since our last meeting. We launched a new forum at forum.btcz.rocks, and that's kind of gives us a little bit more exposure on on community that rather use a forum directly. It helps us organize a little better. We have different tags, different categories to help us break down. There's a lot. It's evolving. We're adding. I guess the biggest thing we've added so far, we're trying to integrate is the proposal system. So that's thing. I'll kind of show you in a little bit about that. A PR, we have some PR going out. I believe I think somebody was reviewing one. Was that yesterday or the day before? I think Yanni sent something out. Is that?
Yeah, making a PR form. That's
Yeah.
Sent out to different companies and stuff.
So I think we have a draft of that. There's going to be a couple more of those going on, and since there's a lot more to cover, I think we're going to see a little bit of that kind of more frequent. As far as the e-commerce friendly, we saw that we went over to we have the payment gateway and we have the 3 modules that we went over in the previous slide here. So that's a major thing for us. That was something on our roadmap in the beginning, and we finally made it there. I guess now we're on the e-commerce topic. I don't know if it's at a later slide, but we have a Shopify bounty out there. What are we at, Renews? Are we still at 75 BTCZ, 75K?
Yeah, 75,000.
Yeah, 75,000 BTCZ for the Shopify e-commerce plugin or integration. Ledger, I think that's something. Just to quickly cover on my part of that, the community voted to get Ledger Nano integration, and a few of the devs have received them. Isglock sent that out. He managed that. He's managing the updates for that. There's a channel in Slack called Ledger Dev, and in Discord, they're linked by the Relay bot. So we're periodically posting some updates on that. I think Renews it if you have something about that.
Well, I think it's mainly going pretty well. We've gotten as far as we possibly can without. There's some APIs on the back end that Ledger controls, and so what we're at in that is we have submitted the application for integration with them, and we are waiting on a response from them. And also, as soon as we get that, they should allow us into their special Slack channel that they have, so that we can actually talk to the developers and push it forward. But as far as the code, I believe we're code complete. I do need some help with some images. There are 4 images that are required that we have to provide. There's in there, basically you have to follow their the way that they want the images to look, but we need a couple images for the Ledger, as well as little images that would go on the device. So we are looking for some people to help out with that if they can.
So we need graphics. Is that what?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Can everyone hear the stream? I don't. I'm not streaming the stream on my side, so I don't know if everything.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Awesome. Thanks, Renews it. So the just to kind of recap really quick, it sounds like we're kind of pretty settled down on the code for integration. We're just waiting for a response, because I know there's an application that we have to submit, and it outlines all of the details of it, and then we kind of go through the process like that. So I think that's the stage that we're at for Ledger. The proposal system that we moved the proposal system over to the forum btcz.rocks forum, and there's a category that we created called proposals, and we have a very descriptive proposal template form. So what that is it what it's supposed to do is it makes you kind of think really a little bit deeper into what you're submitting, and kind of think through the process of how more of a procedural approach. This is a major upgrade from how we had it before. We had a few questions in a Google form, and people were just submitting a couple single statements, which is fine, because we would reach out to them anyway. But then we would kind of later learn that it wasn't very well thought out. It was mostly an idea. So this proposal form is designed to extract those thoughts from your mind, and have a kind of a substantive submission, a proposal submission. So this is new. This is on forums.btcz.rocks, forum.btcz.rocks, and it's basically you copy and paste the template form, and then you create a poll, basically yes or no. Everything's outlined in the template. The poll is basically, it acts just like a vote. So you vote yes or no. And it also, the main thing about all this, about the proposal system on the forum, is that it invites discussion. So it's a forum. You read through the proposal form, and you guys can discuss it back and forth. The community can just be really open and transparent about what they think, and then express their concerns or their ideas, or how to enhance it. Basically, just an open discussion, and then you can vote accordingly on the forum. So that's kind of a major step, and the idea is to also get it to be more of a self-sufficient process, where we don't have to really go through them before the way it was getting submitted through a Google form, and one of us had to go through them and look to them, and then we would carry them over. Like this, it's much more open. We are monitoring the forum, so if you don't, if there's proposals that don't adhere to the proposal template, we'll give some advice, give some guidance, or move it to a different area. And maybe we can help figure out how to fill everything out and get those ideas on the board. So it's at forum.btcz.rocks. You can submit a proposal. Anyone can submit a proposal. Just follow the guidelines, follow the outline, create a poll, and continue the transparency process. So does anyone have any questions about that? Any comments?
No, I think you pretty much covered everything.
All right, cool.
It's good that you don't have to read everything and then fish for information and stuff. So
yep.
Time-wise, it's really efficient to do this.
So let me make sure to go back to here. Okay. Transfer of the YAN to the community. What happened there was the anonymous dev that launched the coin BitcoinZ, transferring over to community. I guess it's more of a community-driven ANN now. So the other one still exists, and it's just going to point to us. And as we're building up more, I know that people are talking about the images and the way it's going to look. I do want to say we're going to make major improvements to the look of the ANN. With some headings and some more graphics. Right now, we can't submit graphics because it's a new account, but as over the course of the next days and weeks, as we post more on it, I think it's a combination of post count, activity, and other things. so we can Risman, we can kind of submit a little more, a little bit more community involvement. People can jump in, and I think we have a plan to put this somehow on GitHub. I don't know how to. I haven't figured that out yet. So people can maybe submit some pull requests and we can merge those changes. Because at the end of the day, it really is just a long, it's just BB code. It's just got some tags, almost like HTML, and you just kind of merge those in. We'll see how that works. I know we talked about that before, Leon, before this the transfer had happened. By the way, this has been going on in the background for maybe a few weeks. I don't know how long. Trying to figure out how to transfer the AND to community into the community decentralized box, I guess. So that's just us starting. The old one's going to be there. It's locked. It's archived. So if anyone can go and see the history, because this is history we're making here, and it's a ledger. It's a book of how everything has been going since we started. So the old one's going to be there. It's going to be locked, and there's a new one. Again, I know we mentioned we need some help with some graphics for Ledger, as Renuz had mentioned, but we would probably also once we figure out the headings that we need for the AND, we're probably going to need some of that to kind of make it a little tidy. So moving on to the next one really quick, Electrum support enabled in barter decks. This was integrated by CIPI over at SuperNet on the barter decks team. He kind of just we approached him and he kind of went at it full force and he submitted some pull requests to the Electrum. Is it Electrum MX or SMX or what is it? I don't remember what that was.
The Electric X project.
Okay, Electrum X project. So submitted that. And now it's part of their code base, so we can actually fire up our own Electrum servers. Does that sound right? Reduce it.
Yeah,
we can. If we want.
Yeah,
anyone can basically that goes onto the Electrum X GitHub. So what that does is he's running a couple of instances on his side on SuperNet is or CIPI is. He's hosting that himself, so that enables us to run barter decks. And if you add a coin, if you've ever used it, you add a coin and you have two modes. As last time I've seen it, it's native mode, which basically means you run your own node locally, so it's kind of like running the wallet itself, or Electrum mode, and it connects directly to the Electrum server. So it's kind of like using a light wallet. You don't have to run your own node, and you can interact, and then you can start using the barter decks platform. Moving on. Any other comments on that? Good. Cool. Exchanges. We've seen quite a bit come up since the last meeting. BTC Alpha. Oh, that's interesting. BTC Alpha. With Bitcoin and USD pairs, X rates, BTC and USD pairs as well, and then that's called Gravix, BTCZ and BTC pair. That was pretty. I think it kind of happened pretty quickly over since the last meeting, getting on exchanges. So it's happening pretty quickly. As we're able to get on more, we can spread out obviously the coins more and have a little bit more liquidity in the market. The Cryptopia race. Has anyone any comments about any of those exchanges there so far?
No.
Which exchange is it that does 9 decimal points instead of 8? I guess we should let people know.
I think that's the Gravix one, isn't it? Oh, X.
No, it's Gravix.
Oh, okay, yeah. Gravix. Okay,
should be Gravix.
Hey, Risman.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's up? So, yeah, that is Gravix, the 9 decimals or 9 digits there. Cryptopia race. So this was an idea that we came up with, and we'll kind of cover it a little bit in a couple slides later about the investors. But this was basically sparked from the investment of the 10 Bitcoin. And now that I have a chance here, it was 10 Bitcoin, and there was an additional, I believe, 1.1 Bitcoin that's going straight to advertisement. So that's what that's being used for. But the Cryptopia tracker, we kind of modified Hodler 95's code and made this a Cryptopia donation tracker. So that's up and running at the link that you see there, and also on the info board. This you can click there, and this is what's happening so far with the Cryptopia donation tracker. So I want to point out also that there's an extra currency that you can donate, and that's DOT, because we need 5 million DOT total for that. So people can donate to that, and kind of help get going through all this stuff. And there's a lot of things that that I guess we can go towards and work towards, but this is a way to kind of voice your interest in that. And there's also a discussion page in the proposal on the forums. There's also for you to go and discuss what you think about Cryptopia, because I know there's different views on the way Cryptopia works, but that's the race for that. And then we went ahead and added Binance as well onto that. It's basically a listing fee of anywhere from 10 to 25 BTC based on the conversation that we've been hearing going around. Now this doesn't guarantee anything. I guess I should point that out too. When you make a donation, when you make it and you expect it, we all expect it to happen, but of course, after that, once you have the funding, there's still an application process. There's still a process of going through everything so that you can get added. The idea with the Binance is that we start early. I believe Bruno was talking about this. We start early because I believe the way it works is that you vote. The coin gets voted on using BNB or Binance token. It's called BNB. So we can start getting that purchase maybe as the price is lower, and then as time goes by, we purchase. I think that's the idea of how that's going to work.
Yeah, that's generally what the plan is with that. I'll just speak to it momentarily.
Sure.
I believe we spoke in chat probably I want to say a week ago. The idea that we kind of loosely come upon is that we're going to try to schedule it the whole operation against the community coin adoption. So the plan is to put it try to target 6 to 12 months out, and then in the meantime start raising funds, getting the BNB coin that's necessary in order to have more than one vote. Once we do that, so like if you look at the last one, I think it was Elastic coin. There's almost 15,000 votes, and it's to think that many people voted is kind of crazy.
Yep.
So what we speculate is happening is they probably hoarded BNB for a while and then targeted this to win the community vote coin election. So that's the plan. So right now is accumulate as much as we can, at least for Binance, is to accumulate as much coin as we can, and as we go, exchange for BNB to hedge off the price rate that we saw in Cryptopia's DOT.
Yep.
So that's, in a nutshell, that's what it is.
Cool. It's some planning going on here, a little bit more structure for trying to get on exchanges because of the way their processes work. You have to kind of think it out, so that's good. Investors, they want us to kind of mention them here on the help that we've, and it's owed here in a sense to mention what's going on behind the scenes with them. So there's been a group of investors, Russia, the Emirates, and New Zealand, and some other countries, and become interested in the coin. They pay attention to development in the community. I think that they saw a lot of activity, a lot of the way it's open, a lot of the way we're kind of just out there. People just jump in and start kind of just marketing or throwing up graphics, and which is great, by the way. I want to mention that I know I've seen several people. I don't keep track of them all exactly, but a lot of people have been creating just different graphics and different media to push out, and there's been a lot of Twitter activity as well. So that's really, really good that I've noticed that quite a bit, and it's just people jumping in and kind of just making it happen, getting out there, and kind of raising a lot of awareness on the project and the coin. The result of their investment so far was X rates, and soon the plan is Exmo as well. I think that is actually in negotiation, or there's some process going on with it. I don't know exactly what, but I think Enver is working on that as well. They did address, which is interesting, a long-term interest and involves, of course, as you've seen, access to new exchanges, but of course advertising as well. So there's been a couple of things going on that they've been trying to work on to try and get some banners and just advertising out there, get us out there, point out what we're really about. No ICO, no dev tax, no pre-mine, and I think the most important thing as well is that it's not a chain fork. That's one of the biggest things that we have going for that. And I'm just getting a message here that we're expected to be April's expectation month for Exmo. So I just got that message right now. So thank you for sending me that. Again, it's long-term advertising. As I mentioned earlier, trying to get raise some awareness on different crypto sites to get out there and get our voices heard even more, and kind of just keep the machine that we're building going. So that's it. And it's as you can see here, it's a long-term thing for them, and investors really want to see long-term growth. They want to, they're really interested in keeping that side of things going. So again, I know everybody comes in here, when Moon, when Lambo, when this, when that. We get it. It's all fun. A lot of people are working every day to make that, happen, but it's necessarily about the technology and the capabilities more so than just that. But I personally, I stay away mostly from, doing the stats command. I just don't do that. I focus on, trying to work and organize and do other things. So anyone have any comments about that?
No, I think that covers most of it.
Yeah, I'm the same way with regard to stats and the price. Whether the price is up or down, I could care less. What I care more about is difficulty. When it's lower, then I can mine more. But
exactly.
This is coming from a miner, so I mean, I have complete and utter faith in BitcoinZ. There's not a shred of doubt in my mind of where it's going. So if the price goes down, if it gets low enough that my cheap person is willing to buy it, then I'll buy more. And that's exciting to me. If difficulty goes down, then I'll mine it. Well, I'll always mine it anyway. So, but the price itself has no value to me, yet at least.
Here.
I think from a developer standpoint, it's more that we all want a use for the coin, and we couldn't care more about what the price is.
Yep, exactly. Someone's talking about really quick in the chat Vicex or Vicex.io, I believe. I think that was the one that we pushed the vote for, and we kind of got to the plan stage. So thanks for bringing that up. Somebody in the chat, DJ, and we. Thanks. I guess I got to thank the community for that. That was great. That was kind of great. We were kind of pushing that on Twitter, and we made it happen. So congratulations on that collaborative effort, as we've seen. So that was pretty fun to do. We kind of need more of those things going on, so we can kind of rally the troops and stuff, focus our efforts. So moving on really quick here to the hash lottery. So this is a really, really interesting things have been going on. I think I've made a couple of videos on this for since January the 18th, and it's for a combination of things, and it's really cool. It's pay for new exchanges, new wallets, maintain community service, because yes, by the way, that there is a cost associated with that. Anything that we need for writing contracts or drafting anything like that, we may need some kind of funding for that. So this all helps that. It can be used for other promotions. Of course, there is some guidance in the way the funding works in the white paper and the proposal process, as we've seen. But this process, it's really interesting. We've had a lot more people join since we've been kind of advertising it a little bit more. It's at hash4.btcc.rocks, and there has been quite a few people there. I think by tomorrow we should be in round 8 after the round 7 person is chosen. It's really cool. Basically, to cover it really quickly, 10% of the coins that are confirmed mined from this hash lottery process goes to a winner. Is you enter basically based on your entries, which is based on your hash rate. So it's really cool. And as I keep mentioning, if we hit 50,000 BTCZ, you pretty much enter for a chance to win the physical coin, the physical BitcoinZ that we've seen kind of around. It's on flipmybits.com as well. So let me go here really quick.
Also known as the Riz.
As the Riz. Exactly. So that's what's going on. This is a GUI, the GUI representation of the hash4 BTCZ miner. And this is by Ninja Pickle, and I will add that it's really cool. It's very easy to use. Kind of a funny story about it, really quick. When I first got it, I didn't enable any of the miners that were all set to off. I clicked start mining, and it got stuck in a loop, and I was like, "This is not CryptoRex proof." So Ninja Pickle's been giving me some stuff about that. Kind of making fun of me that you got to make it CryptoRex proof. But anyway, he fixed it. It's really cool. You can enable, you can allocate which GPUs you want to use. You can even use your CPU. Very simple to use. Worker name, wallet address, and click start. And basically, that's it. You're done. You're ready to go. You're in the hash lottery at that point. So really good to check it out.
If I may, major props to Ninja Pickle. He actually built both the site, the hash4.btcz.rocks, as well as the miner. So he's spearheaded this whole thing. And with the miner, I do want to point out, if you want to donate the winnings, so every week there's a winner that gets 10% of the generated funds. If you don't care to receive that yourself, you don't have to put a wallet address in, and that will be a donation to the community along with the rest of the funds. So yeah, everything is just ridiculously easy. Generally what we recommend is just put one GPU on it, or if you only have 1 or 2 GPUs, just run a little bit of your CPU on it, and that way we can leave it running 24/7, and it could be like a residual income for the community, just consistent every week or every month, instead of if you put all your rigs on it for a few hours, then you may completely forget about it for a few weeks. So if it's just one GPU, something you're not going to miss, 970 or something small, and then just leave it there forever. So a lot of people are doing that now.
Yeah, I would recommend, if anybody, that if you're not using your CPU 50% of the day, just turn it on and set the timeout. I think it's the idle timer he's got, and it actually works and works good. So it's highly recommend everybody do that. If we did that, if everybody did a little bit, I mean, we would have a lot of funding for for things moving forward there. We just need to get the word out to everybody. So tell your friends.
Tell your friends.
Yeah, basically, I mean, to put it in a nutshell, our growth is directly tied to how much funding we have. So the more funding we have coming in, the more we can go after big exchanges. We can hire developers to build out some really awesome stuff. We can, redesign the website or whatever needs to happen. We can do it if we have the funding. Without the funding, we're limited to community members helping us with things, and those that donate their time and efforts into building these different tools and whatnot, which is perfectly fine, and we can survive with that as long as we need to. But it's a lot slower than having funding to purchase things. So everybody that comes in and says "win moon," well, the answer is, how much can you give towards the moon? Because the more people can donate, the faster we can, get to the moon.
More rocket fuel.
Exactly. And the rocket fuel is not only the funding, it's also what you can do based on your skill set and what you're willing to give to to push forward the project. There's I mean, compared to the way any project works in the beginning, I know that Renewsit and Ecopool have worked really hard on getting GitHub repositories organized and getting all that available for people to submit PRs. Even me myself, when I make a comment about something, they're like, "You submit a PR." I'm like, "Hey, okay, sorry," but that's the way it works. You can. That's the collaborative effort, the collaborative foundation that we're moving towards, that we're accomplishing, and it just involves you giving whatever skill you can, if you're a developer, if you're a coder, if you're simple graphics, anything you can do. It's just contributing that way as well. It's not plainly about funding, but it's kind of it's a shared aspect, a shared approach to how to make the project progress. And really honestly, we've come a very long way. I'm very actually excited to be part of a community that comes together like this. And it's kind of together in the, not, I wouldn't say in any moments of the way things are going on, I guess I would say we come together like this. So it's really good to see. And if you've seen, I think one of the things I've noticed the most personally is that people that just kind of jump in and just all of a sudden send us a message, "Hey, I made this." That's great. They stick around more. There's nothing tied to it. There's no strings attached, as they say. It's just jump in. I like the project. I like the community. I like how open it is. I like the transparency. I can be part of this. That's the thing. Inclusion. Someone was talking about inclusion. We need to, just include yourself, and it's by action. We advocate action. So, moving on.
Actually, before you move on, real quick, just to add, we don't just need technical skills.
Right.
I saw Jahani just getting into general a day or two ago and asking for people to help him write some PRs. Helping, anything that you can do, we can use it. We're not a company, we're a community. And so the community needs to grow. We need people who have writing skills. We need people who have marketing skills. We need people who have social media skills, which I'm pretty sure everybody does. So all of this is what makes the community. And so everybody and every single capability is needed. And we appreciate all of it.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm glad you mentioned the social media thing too, because yeah, we all know how to use social media, probably mostly everyone, but it's also a bit of just a small commitment. It's not big, but to be actually active on it, that's what also it involves. And sometimes that is a skill in itself, for you to be dedicated to some extent. Again, this is a community, so we just give our time as well. So I want to move on to I think that was what we've had so far. I think we're in Q&A mode now. I haven't seen any questions come across. Animation clips. Yeah, I mean, if you're asking about using animation clips or having people create them, yeah, I mean, I think we need any type of representation that that works with how we.
Actually, somebody's been making some really cool Jiffy artwork. Yes. There's a rocket flying up with the BitcoinZ logo. That thing is beautiful.
Yeah, I think that's Astro Dick.
Oh my gosh!
Shout out on that. That's my new wallpaper.
Yes, some of those graphics are just amazing. So yeah, if you've got skills, man, use them.
And Gracchus as well. I think he's made the.
He made the banner, I believe, which looks excellent. Good, quick question on that. Do we know do we have any targets to put that up? Because I think that looks better than some ICOs. In fact, I'll say it looks better than most ICO banners out there, just from the quality. It looks like he really took some time into it.
Yeah, we are trying to get it out there, but so far, I think the problem so far has been that it's a little too large, and there's some people that don't want to host it.
Gotcha. So we need to get it shrink.
Yeah, and I think there was some degradation during that process, so I don't know. But we're getting that worked out, and I think we'll find different places for it. So that should.
Problems with hosting? Let me know.
Well, no, it's not. It's not actually hosting it. They just don't want to integrate it into their system that way. I think we even hosted it somewhere else, and they don't want to pull it in. So, I don't know why it's that way. I'm gonna go scroll up really quick because somebody asked a question here about.
While you're looking for that, let me give an update on the website real quick. So last week we rewrote the whole website. It looks exactly the same, but it has real structure behind it that's much easier to update. And so we've been reluctant to updating it because the old one that we inherited, every single translation required an update. So anytime we wanted to add a link or change a link or add text, we had to do it in every single language in a separate file with 10,000 lines of code. And so now it's a much cleaner repository, and translations are much easier to do. You actually just do it on Google Sheets. So after recreating the site, it's a lot of work to copy the translations over. I mean, like tons of hours of work. And so we're kind of going with a start fresh philosophy. I'm going to deploy the site hopefully maybe today. And the plan is that we get people to help us with the translations. And so if you have the ability to speak in a language that's not represented on the site and you'd like to add the translation, just contact anybody on Slack and they'll point you in the right direction. And the goal is we're doing the translations from scratch because I also received a lot of feedback that translations are terrible on the current site. So redoing the translations from scratch will allow us to clean all that up and get better feedback. So that's kind of the plan.
Cool. I need to mention one thing about the banner that we spoke a bit earlier, the rotating banner. We need something. We need some help with apparently creating the banner using HTML5, which I think to me I researched it is to package it is the way it's packaged. But I think also the image might be too large. But if someone can help us out with that, apparently there are sites that requested in HTML5 format, and it's an animated GIF. So to me, it just sounds like they need to package it a certain way. But you still have to import the animated GIF. So if someone can kind of help us or give us some guidance on making that HTML5 compliant, I guess, we can please reach out to us, any of us, anywhere on Slack or Discord. Going back to the other question, do we have a roadmap, or this one first? What's the opinion around masternodes? I think this has also been brought up quite a bit. I don't think there is no plans to really go masternodes on the same chain. It's just not part of the principles of how what it was launched on. So I don't see that maybe as some kind of side chain that personally I have no idea how that works yet. So I can't really speak to that, but I've heard a lot of people talk about that kind of stuff. Basically, the way it works is how if you want to utilize the BitcoinZ blockchain in some way that you can kind of weave in masternodes, it's not part of the actual consensus now, the way it's set up now, then you can do it. We just don't. I haven't heard of any of us say that we're going to go that route. And it's not part of the principle in the core chain itself. Anyone have anything to add to that? No? I think it's a question we get quite often. Go ahead.
Who said? Okay. No, I'll just speak to it briefly. We don't have anything that's offhand that readily that we have plans to integrate masternodes into, but we are looking at options for how individuals can monetize transactions into and outgoing to vendors and such for that. So I would say, while we don't have something specifically for masternodes currently on the roadmap, we do have plans for methods which community members advocates, anybody that wants to be an integrator and push the technology, they will have abilities to profit off of it, in for those efforts in the future. So although we don't quite have something that we're ready to bring to the public yet, that we are working on something that will fulfill the an alternative means of accumulating coin.
Mm-hmm. And I just a little bit to add to that. It's not really directly related to that, but I think that building relationships with I think with just generally with the different communities out in the crypto space. I called it the crypto sphere the other day, and Rizman was like, "What's that?" But I think he caught on right away. So out there, we need to build relationships with other projects that we can help integrate with each other and help each other out. So I think that's a big step towards different types of integrations. As far as do we have a roadmap? We have one on the website, and I think once we merge it, it's going to change a little bit. But there's also a lot of other things that aren't specific, that are kind of more broad. And the way this has been working so far, I have said personally myself that I think roadmaps are kind of a disguise to true activity, because it's just a kind of like a dot on the map, and I think a lot of people like that procedurally. It's it gives a visual effect. Okay, here and there. But the truth is that there's been so many things happening that we never saw happen, that we never thought of they would be on the roadmap, and they just happened. Why? Because of the way the community works, the way it goes out there. We don't have, set deadlines in that sense, because it's community. Everybody volunteers pretty much, and it just happens when it happens. And again, there are things that come up that we don't know about. But I think there is some extra things we need to add to there based on everything that's been happening, and I think that'll be updated accordingly. That is on the website, and it's constantly changing what gets added, because again, people just jump in. Like, for instance, the payment gateway, when we got that up and going, that Robert just messaged me out of the blue. He said, "Hey, I got this going." We never knew that it was being worked on. It just happened that way. So, and it was part of our roadmap, of course, but there are things that are not, that people just come up and say, "Hey, I made this, and I made that," and that's just the way it goes. That's the progression that we take, and that's the kind of progression that we have. It's not stenciled. It's not written in any procedure. What our procedure is gaining, growing in community, in the size of the community, and what people can can help with, what they're willing to learn about.
Yeah. No, yeah, I was going to say I agree with that. I have a feeling that in the future, that's we're gonna see a couple breakthroughs that completely come out of left field from community members, and then we're like, wow, I totally can see that occurring, moving forward, especially like what Rob and even to the same extent Nick K, some of the stuff that he's working on. It's been like left field, hit you out of nowhere. So I agree with you on that. It's good to have the roadmap, but it really isn't telling, and it doesn't really have its finger on the pulse, so to speak, of what's really going on out there. So I think everybody should keep that in mind. There's a lot of silent development here that we just don't know about, and it could be the next $1 million idea that gets popped in here just because somebody finds the project, they like it, and they contribute. So please continue to do so.
Yep, that's been working on quite a bit. Okay, so I'm getting messages that we're also negotiating with. We already have prices for advertising on forklog.net. Looks like. Let me see here. I'm going to paste it into the YouTube channel here. So that again, that's one thing that just comes up, just happens. We go somewhere, we end up something gets built, and we just learn about it, and then like, this is advertising. This is the first time I learned about it. But there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes that they just execute. People just execute, and that's what we're about. We advocate for action, basically. There was another question. Let me see here. Did I miss something? Prospects for getting on a major exchange like Binance or Bittrex. I don't see that that's out of the question ever. I think it's just a matter of our growth and our capabilities, and then there are some things about those, and I don't think we've really figured out yet. And I mean, there's not really much to figure out about it, but I think some of these places, and guys, correct me if I'm wrong here, I think that they do, some of those big ones require some type of legal entity or some creation. So, and I'm not entirely sure, but it sounds like they might. But those are just little things that we have to get by and get through and move forward with. It's not something that would stop us as we grow. I think something can be figured out to get on there. But there's the prospects of being on an exchange. We're always moving towards them. We always try and get on high liquidity and larger exchanges that people trust. So that's just part of the process. We are completely community driven, so that's what changes the way it works.
A lot of the exchanges, the bigger ones, are looking at volume. So when a coin gets enough volume that it raises their interest, they may add us to Bittrex at no charge. So it's not necessarily about raising funds for those exchanges, but it is about growing. So the more we grow, the closer we get towards those big exchanges.
Yeah. Speaking to that a little bit, Arun, about that, the whole Binance thing, yeah, that was interesting. The last thing that I heard about it was really that it was a big phishing effort that they were gathering. They were gathering usernames basically, and they created APIs for all the accounts that they phished, and they were able to interact with their accounts. How about daily posts? Yeah, we do need that. We need more collaboration on Twitter to get things going. But I haven't. Well, recently I think I did see that we might have needed that. We saw that we might have needed some more activity. But now all of a sudden we have so much activity on Twitter. It's kind of exploded. There's people that aren't really tweeting from the BitcoinZ community team account, and it's just BitcoinZ though. So we go through those and we retweet those accordingly, and make comments here and there as we have. But I don't think it's a bad idea, to have somebody dedicated to do that. I don't know what you guys think about that, but we've been sufficiently active on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean the goal is to get the word out, let more people know about it. And this is, in the spirit of decentralization, somebody else creates a Twitter account and they want to start tweeting good things. By all means, more power to them. So.
Yep. Yeah, there is quite a bit going on, and I kind of want to make a mention to Daniel. I don't know how to. Sorry, I'm going to butcher your name, but Komovies. He's been very, very extremely active on Facebook, so thank you very much for that. I've noticed how much effort you put in for that, and you're answering left and right. You're posting, you're putting graphics. It's just great. It's awesome. There's a lot of people posting different things. So Daniel, thank you very much for that.
You mean followings? That's his Slack name. He's awesome.
Oh, he's also followings. Yeah, but just crazy on Facebook. He's also here on YouTube. So that was really cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any other questions or comments so far, guys? Yeah, we do have some people following us that have pretty big influence, and they're kind of retweeting here and there. But again, it's just about continuing to grow, but it would be good to reach out, to do that. I think a lot of things something that's interesting that I've seen is that people are kind of joining together their funds to actually help in bounties, which bounties aren't really necessarily a thing that generally come out of. That are established by the BitcoinZ community as far as the principles. This was launched with the founding principle of really no bounties from the actual BitcoinZ, I guess, team. But that doesn't mean that there can't be any. And I myself, donated some for the Shopify bounty. So there is a Shopify bounty, by the way, if I forgot to mention that. And DJ, yes, we do need more bounties on Twitter. But the thing about that is personally, I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of people who know how to do it. Tracking that is, in my opinion, very difficult to do. I'm sure there's probably some pragmatic way to do it or systematic. I don't know, but keeping track of dupes, and fake accounts and all that is just it's kind of a burdening process. But it'd be good to be able to launch something like that. I don't know if anybody has any insight on how that can work better instead of manually tracking everything, which you may not have to.
I'm just going to put this out there. I want to see more people that want to do these things to help the community, not necessarily for their own gain, their own profit. That's just a personal opinion, but it's perfectly fine if you need the money. But I want to see people, give themselves just to help. I think the world as a whole needs more people like that.
I do want to add to that. There's as we have been growing, we have seen we've seen certain behaviors of people that are all about joining and about all about giving, and then they, in some certain tactful way, they hold it against us what they've given us, and that's not really giving anything. That's kind of just like they are self-interested, and it's okay. We understand that people need some kind of something, right? But we have to come with the idea that you're giving, and may not necessarily expect anything, but in the long run, it just comes with the territory with you giving. It just, in my opinion, giving so much, it just naturally comes back to you somehow. So that is true. The volunteerism is obviously great.
And honestly, I will say, I think a lot of the best things we've seen in the community has been pure volunteer with no profit at all. Several times where we've had bounties for things and people have gotten paid for services, we've actually run into a lot of trouble with it. It's just, for some reason, financial transactions of these sorts cause problems. And I don't know if it's the types of individuals that want, to be paid for it, or if it's just the act of you have a certain set of expectations when you're being paid. Whereas when you're donating your time, if somebody built something for me for free, I can't go and be critical of it and expect all these, things with it. I'm going to take whatever they give and I'll do the work to make it better myself if it needs to be better. So it's just a different expectation. And I personally prefer, volunteering. To me, that's a lot more powerful. And then a lot more people can jump in and help. And it's not like, well, you were paid for this, so we expect it to be perfect from you. So.
Yep, exactly. Somebody mentioned here only voting system there. I don't know what's going on with CX.io, but I thought there was a link in the info board. Maybe it's expired now. Open an internet shop for sale computer hardware and payment. I know somebody's working on getting a shop together through Shopify, I believe. I need to actually reach out to that person and see what's going on with that. There is already a shop. By the way, if somebody, the shirt shop that's there, that's what is it? Spread shirt. Hold on, let me get the name real quick. Oh, I took it off. I think it was the shirt shop that was there. If somebody can remind me who's running that, please. Any other questions, comments, guys? I don't know if we're leaving anything out. I think we're good.
I think we touched everything that was discussed previously. So I think we're good on that end. I would, going back to what I think it was Zafir in the chat was saying, reaching out to large following members. I want to emphasize on that, guys. If you see that as being valuable, be the ambassador to the coin. Be that person and reach out do it on behalf of the community. You know, it's like it's one of the things we can all. Don't wait for somebody else to do it. Reach out, see if you can do it yourself. If you need help, feel free to reach out to one of us for help. But at the very minimum, try to do it. Try to be an ambassador for that as well. I think if everybody took the time and just contacted one person and tried to get them involved with the coin, even at 1%, you know, I think we have 200 people watching now at least. No, 63. Even at 1% of that, that's one person.
Yeah.
Person that we'd be able to convince. So please do that. You know, please try to do so. Try to take an initiative on it and go out there. No, you know, that's one of the things that's awesome about being decentralized is there is no governing body. Yep. We're all here because, you know, for whatever reason we you know, we have that we want to be a part of and try to take a lead role in it, but anybody can do it. All of you guys can do it. So absolutely. Please.
That's absolutely right. That's a very good point, actually. A lot of times their approach is, can we do this? Can we do that? Yeah. Be that liaison, be that ambassador, be that advocate for the community. That's actually how all of this has happened. That's actually why we're where we're at this stage, because people have taken the initiative to just do it on their own and come back to us with something. That's just the way it works. It's ideas are great. I've always said that they're great. Execution is really where the substantive effort is involved in you know, getting out there and doing those things. You need to execute. So execute on your ideas and your plans, and if they're within the, you know, the conduct of what we follow, and you know, they're, you know, it's a good thing. Everyone supports it. The community supports it. So I think we're good on.
Paulie asked, why do we need BitcoinZ at all anyways? We have Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, Ethereum, etc. and 1,000 others, or ETC. Maybe it's Ethereum Classic. And 1,000 others.
I was trying to link him to the response that's for that, and it absolutely doesn't link through there, so I guess we disabled the links through it. I would recommend that you go and look it through even, you know, not to promote CoinMarketCap, but go to CoinMarketCap and look at the social tab under there, and then just poke through some of the Reddits. A lot of people have answered that question, at least from their purview, regarding why they need BitcoinZ, why not, you know, every other $100 plus coin out there. It's I think at the very, very fundamental of it, it's going to be accessibility. You know, when 25% of the world is making less than $1 a day on, you know, whatever form of work that they have available to them, you know, Bitcoin is not an option for them. Litecoin is not an option for them. And moreover, even if it was an option, you know, if you say, sure, you can buy fractionals of every coin, but who does that? Who, you know, human beings aren't wired to think in the 8th decimal. It's just not the case. So when you ask that, you really gotta ask that question to the people that you're targeting. You know, for me, I don't see this coin as being the Zuckerberg or the Winklevoss twins coin. I don't see them buying into this. I see this being the folks that are sub-dollar, you know, or even not even that. If you're here in the U.S., if you're making less than $25,000 a year, your poverty level. That's the people I think we are. That's how you're going to get the groundswell of adoption. It's not going to be from the top. It's going to be from the bottom up. So accessibility, if to answer that question, at least in my perspective of it, it's accessibility that's going to set us apart.
Yep. affordability aspect of
Exactly.
Yep. So I actually had an idea the other night discussing, and actually I'm going to execute on that. I'm going to make a very elaborate memo, and I'm just going to shoot it out to all the exchanges and see what they say. So it's an ambitious goal. I'm not going to mention what it is, but it's kind of interesting. So and I think it's an idea that we actually can support because of everything, because of the community involvement, because of the supply, because of the price target, because I just would be great. So it's just kind of a little thing I'm working on my own.
Go ahead and share it.
No, I
hate teasers, even though I know what it is.
I need to. I need to formulate, exactly. It's gonna really involve just me writing up a very elaborate stance on BitcoinZ in the community, and what we can really solve, because there's a big problem that I think I noticed. I don't know, maybe I was just crazy that night, but it seemed interesting, and I think I think Rizman was kind of along the same page. So and I think it was interesting. So any other questions, any comments? No.
One comment. I don't know if anybody noticed it. Just I think 2 days ago, I think BitcoinZ just hit the 6-month mark on from the birthday standpoint. I don't think it went with much fanfare, but this is, considering how far we've gotten in 6 months, it's really telling. I don't know if anybody else has seen that or realized it, but
I'm glad you mentioned that, Riz. I actually, I think I committed to writing something up and releasing that, our progress basically from where we started and where we're at now. And it's going to give a really good picture into that. So thanks for reminding me. I need to put that out there. But yes, we did have our 6-month anniversary on the 9th. So that's great. It's a big thing. It's a big thing for everybody. So congratulations to everybody, and the people now, the people that were here, the people that are going to be here in the future. It's great. Everybody, it's a big joint effort, and partly why I believe in it all. So it's really good. Congratulations to everybody, every single one of you.
For the 1-year anniversary or birthday, we definitely need a cake. So if you have baking skills, go ahead and start planning on this cake.
Yeah, planning now.
That would actually be cool. I'd put up a personal bounty for the best cake.
Hey, that's a good idea. I like that. Yeah. That's a good idea. All right, I think we're on wrap up stage. I don't know if there's anything else. Anyone leave anything else out? Good. Cool. All right.
Well, thank you everybody for watching, and here's to the future.
Yep. Cheers. Thanks for everyone's efforts. Continue. We're gonna keep going. It's great. Keep it up. And for those that are gonna watch it that missed the live stream, well, hi to you too. So join up.
All right. See you guys.
There.